0314 hours, Pacific Command Network Operations Center, Guam. A flicker on a monitor, a short burst of static, and then silence. For 8 seconds, the U.S. Pacific Fleet's encrypted command relay, the digital nerve center linking 3 American carrier strike groups, went completely dark. To most, it looked like a technical glitch. To U.S. Cyber Command, it looked like the beginning of a cyber war. At 0317 hours, network diagnostics revealed something impossible. Unauthorized access originating from an IP chain in Shanghai, routing through military-grade quantum servers believed to be under the control of China's Strategic Support Force, Unit 61419, the same division responsible for electronic warfare operations and satellite jamming across the Pacific. The intrusion was surgical, no brute force, no chaos, just silent infiltration, a line of corrupted code that appeared in the command server of the USS Theodore Roosevelt, the flagship of the U.S. 7th Fleet. According to sources obtained by Global Warfare Report, the attack began 11 minutes earlier, inside a seemingly harmless weather update packet transmitted from a civilian meteorological satellite. Hidden within was a quantum encryption bypass module, capable of mirroring carrier command nodes in real time. By 3:22 hours, the Roosevelt's network screens began to flicker. Navigation maps glitched. The Aegis combat system displayed false contact reports, phantom vessels appearing near the Philippine coast, and most alarming of all, the ship's secure communications uplink to Pacific Command showed encrypted channel unavailable. The carrier was, for a brief moment, digitally blind and deaf in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Inside the Combat Information Center, technicians scrambled to reboot the ship's command link, but every attempt to override the intrusion failed. Each keystroke triggered a loop. Commands rerouted through invisible data bridges buried deep inside the system architecture. One cybersecurity officer whispered, "They're inside our network." At 3:26 hours, a second report came in, this time from the USS Bunker Hill CG-52, part of the Roosevelt strike group. Its radar feed was showing false missile tracks approaching from the east, dozens of them. The ship's defense grid went to Condition 1, full combat readiness. For the next 40 seconds, the crew believed a Chinese missile barrage was inbound, but there were no missiles, only false telemetry injected through corrupted command data. What made the attack so dangerous was not what it destroyed, but what it could have. If the hackers had gained access to the carrier's fire control systems, they could have triggered automated countermeasures, even missile launches, without human authorization. According to defense analysts, this was the closest the U.S. Navy had ever come to a digital ambush at sea. At 0333 hours, the U.S. Navy activated Protocol Delta Shield, a rarely used contingency measure for cyber attacks targeting command nodes. This isolated all carrier systems from satellite relays, effectively cutting the fleet off from external networks. For 17 minutes, the world's most powerful naval strike group was alone, surrounded by invisible enemies in cyberspace. But the attack wasn't over. At 0338 hours, a new anomaly appeared, a data burst from an undersea cable near Luzon, rerouted through 3 nodes in Hainan Island, home to China's Southern Theater Command. Analysts later confirmed it carried fragments of encrypted mission logs and surveillance data from the Roosevelt's operations in the South China Sea. Someone wasn't just attacking, they were collecting. By 0341 hours, U.S. Cyber Command confirmed what many had feared. This was not a rogue act. It was a state-sponsored offensive designed to test how far China could penetrate America's digital warfighting backbone. Inside the command bunker at Pearl Harbor, the decision was made. If this was a cyber strike, the response would not be digital alone, because at that very moment, China's warships began to move. Zero 0344 hours, Pacific Command, Pearl Harbor. Within minutes of the cyber breach aboard the USS Theodore Roosevelt, America's top cyber warfare specialists were already in motion. Inside a sealed chamber known as CyberNet OPS-7, analysts stared at cascading lines of encrypted traffic flooding the Pacific network grid. Chinese digital signatures cloaked in decoy packets. "This isn't a probe," one operator said quietly. "It's a live intrusion test, coordinated, military grade." By 0347 hours, hours, U.S. Cyber Command, USCYBERCOM, issued a full-spectrum lockdown of all naval digital networks under Directive Echo 71, an emergency protocol that isolates every carrier strike group from shared satellite systems. It was the first time since 2017 the protocol had been activated. At the same moment, a team from the National Security Agency's Tailored Access Operations, TAO, deployed a countermeasure, Operation Iron Signal, a covert cyber retaliation plan designed to trace, infiltrate, and neutralize hostile command servers in real time. Their orders were simple: find the origin, leave no digital footprint, send a message. 3:52 hours, South China Sea. The Roosevelt Strike Group was now running on internal data networks only, relying on analog systems and encrypted radio frequencies. Sailors moved swiftly through red-lit corridors, switching systems to manual, rerouting power through physical backups. In the Combat Information Center, the atmosphere was tense. Every radar ping was being verified manually, every course correction double-checked by human navigation teams. They were fighting not just an unseen enemy, but the risk of their own systems turning against them. Meanwhile, a U.S. Air Force EC-130H Compass, call electronic warfare aircraft, launched from Andersen Air Base, Guam, heading straight toward the affected zone. Its mission? To jam hostile transmissions believed to be piggybacking on commercial satellites and undersea cables near the Philippine Trench. By 0408 hours, the Compass call began flooding the region with electronic noise, disrupting China's relay signals. But that interference came at a cost. It also degraded the Roosevelt's communications with other strike groups. For nearly 12 minutes, the U.S. carrier operated in near-total silence. For 11 hours, Beijing. According to sources obtained by Global Warfare Report, China's Strategic Support Force Unit 61,419, operating from a facility outside Hefei, initiated Phase 2 of its operation. The target, U.S. Carrier Command AI modules. The digital brains that fuse radar, sonar, and satellite feeds into real-time battle data. This time, they didn't attempt to shut them down. They tried to rewrite them. Through subtle code injection, Chinese cyber units planted false identification markers inside the U.S. threat recognition algorithm, making it appear that American drones and aircraft were unknown or hostile objects. If successful, it could have caused friendly fire within the strike group. But at 4:19 hours, the trap was discovered. A cybersecurity officer aboard the Roosevelt, Lieutenant Megan Shaw, noticed a packet mismatch in the authentication protocol. She manually purged the network, isolating the corrupted kernel just seconds before the malware could replicate. Her quick action prevented what one analyst later described as a catastrophic self-inflicted strike that would have crippled the fleet. 4:23 hours, Fort Meade, Maryland. U.S. Cyber Command launched its Counterstrike, Operation Silent Reprisal. Using quantum tunneling algorithms and deep packet obfuscation, the NSA's TAO unit reached a chain of Chinese relay servers in Shenzhen, tracing the attack back to 3 physical nodes inside a PLA-run data farm near Hefei. Within seconds, a digital payload codenamed Phantom Storm was deployed, a non-destructive infiltration worm designed to copy, tag, and expose Chinese cyber infrastructure to all allied surveillance networks. In under 90 seconds, 43 Chinese control servers were forced offline. Every attempt by PLA cyber operators to reinitiate contact was met with blank terminal responses. In the words of one senior U.S. cyber analyst, "We didn't destroy their network, we turned their lights on." 4:31 hours, Pacific Ocean. As the digital battle raged unseen, the physical one was beginning to form. At 4:32, a Chinese Type 055 Renhai-class cruiser was spotted 54 nautical miles north of the Roosevelt's position, flanked by 2 Type 056A corvettes. They were broadcasting an encrypted beacon, later confirmed to be coordinating with China's Cyber Warfare Division for real-time targeting telemetry. The U.S. responded response was immediate. 2 F/A-18 Super Hornets scrambled from the Roosevelt's deck under radio silence, guided only by onboard AI and analog radar. Their mission: shadow the Chinese vessels, verify activity, and prepare for escalation. At 4:38 hours, one of the F/A-18s locked its targeting pod onto the Chinese cruiser, and what they saw confirmed everything. A satellite uplink dish was mounted on the aft deck, emitting a powerful transmission beam directly toward mainland China. That ship wasn't just sailing, it was a mobile cyber relay, the bridge between the digital and physical attack. 4:42 hours, U.S. Cyber Command Coordination Hub. Through an encrypted back channel, the Roosevelt transmitted the uplink coordinates to Fort Meade. Within seconds, Phantom Storm was redirected toward the vessel's beacon. It infiltrated the ship's signal frequency, looping its transmissions and flooding its onboard system with decoy traffic. To Chinese operators, it looked like the U.S. fleet had vanished. Their radar screens went blank. All contact was lost. At 4:46 hours, the attack collapsed. The Roosevelt systems rebooted, secure channels re-established. Every trace of the Chinese intrusion was gone, overwritten by the U.S. Counterstrike. 4:51 hours, Pacific Command, Guam. An encrypted message from the Roosevelt arrived at Fleet HQ. Network integrity restored, carrier group operational, hostile relay neutralized. In that moment, the United States regained control of the digital Pacific. China's operation had failed, but more importantly, it had exposed its hand. Over the next 48 hours, U.S. cyber teams traced hundreds of dormant Chinese backdoors inside global networks, embassies, shipping firms, defense contractors. The discovery led to a joint cyber defense initiative across NATO and the Indo-Pacific, codenamed Sentinel Web. For China, the message was clear. The U.S. may lose a signal, but it never loses command. In the aftermath, Pentagon analysts described the incident as the first fully documented cyber-naval hybrid conflict of the modern era, a battle fought not with missiles or bombs, but with code, deception, and silence. Because in this new world of warfare, you don't need to pull a trigger to start a war. You just need to send the wrong packet.